Chosen one. This moment is not random, and the delay you've been feeling is not denial. Heaven is not rushing a meeting. God is aligning two lives. What feels like waiting is actually Kairos timing, where nothing is late and nothing is forced. The scroll is opening in order, not in haste. Anointed one, when God prepares a union, he first prepares the vessels. Alignment always precedes encounter. Scripture reminds us in Jeremiah 29:11 that the plan is intentional, crafted with hope and a future, so the process must be precise. What you sense as distance is divine calibration. Hearts are being healed, patterns are being broken, and assignments are being clarified, so that when paths cross, they lock, not collide. Chosen one. This is why peace has been growing even without answers. The Spirit is synchronizing rhythms, not emotions. Ecclesiastes 3:1 tells us there is a time for every purpose, and this is the time of preparation, not pursuit. The hidden scroll is being read line by line, character, courage, clarity, so the meeting arrives whole. Stay here with me. If this resonates gently, align with it, subscribe so you don't miss what's unfolding, and comment 777 as a sign you recognize divine timing. Anointed one. God is aligning two lives, and when heaven moves, it moves right on time. Chosen one. What you are experiencing right now is not delay, it is precision. There is a difference, and your spirit already knows it. If God were rushing this meeting, it would feel frantic, heavy, pressured, and emotionally unstable. But what you're sensing instead is a quiet tightening, a holy restraint, a sense that something is being held back on purpose. That is not absence, that is alignment. Heaven is not trying to get two people to cross paths quickly. Heaven is making sure that when they do, they recognize each other without confusion. I've lived through seasons where I begged God to hurry things I thought were overdue, only to later realize that if He had answered me sooner, I would have met the right person at the wrong version of myself. And that version could not have sustained what was coming. There is a sacred order at work now, anointed one. God aligns lives before He aligns locations. He aligns character before chemistry. He aligns obedience before intimacy. What feels like silence is actually writing. The hidden scroll is not blank. It is being filled line by line with maturity, healing, discernment, and authority. This is why old distractions have been falling away without effort. This is why certain conversations no longer satisfy you. This is why you've felt strangely uninterested in chasing what once consumed you. Your spirit is being tuned to recognize what belongs to you when the moment arrives. I remember noticing this shift in my own life, the sudden loss of appetite for emotional chaos, the way surface-level connections felt loud instead of exciting. At the time, I thought something was wrong with me. In reality, something was being sealed. Chosen. One alignment often feels lonely because it removes counterfeit noise. God will not introduce what is sacred into a life that is still crowded with substitutes. This is not punishment, it is protection. Two lives are being brought into the same frequency, not by effort, but by surrender. Heaven is synchronizing prayer lives, breaking generational patterns, healing unseen wounds, and closing doors that would have caused premature attachment. There are things God is resolving in the other person that you will never need to know about: private battles, quiet obedience moments where they almost gave up but didn't. The same is true for you. This is why the meeting cannot be rushed. If even one piece is misaligned, the connection would activate pain instead of purpose. Anointed one. There is a reason your faith has been stretched in this season. Not to test you, but to stabilize you. God does not want this connection to become an idol, a crutch, or a source of identity confusion. He wants it to be a partnership between two whole people who know who they are in Him. I've learned sometimes the hard way that when God delays a promise, He is often protecting it from our impatience. There were seasons when I would have poured everything into a person simply because they arrived at the right emotional moment, not realizing that timing alone does not equal assignment. What God is doing now is deeper. He is teaching you how to stand without leaning, how to love without losing yourself, how to wait without bitterness. That is not wasted time. That is preparation that cannot be skipped. Chosen one, this is a Kairos moment, not a calendar one. Chronos asks, how long? Kairos asks, are you ready? Heaven moves when alignment is complete, not when impatience peaks. There is a verse in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 that says, the vision waits for the appointed time, and though it tarries, it will not fail. That scripture is not poetic, it is procedural. God does not miss appointments. If the meeting hasn't happened yet, it's because something essential is still being formed. And what is being formed now will prevent confusion cycles and unnecessary pain later. You are not waiting alone. You are being covered while heaven works behind the veil. Anointed one, let me speak to the fatigue you don't talk about, the quiet tiredness of doing the right thing without visible reward, the temptation to settle, to compromise, to assume you misunderstood God. I've been there, standing in ordinary days, wondering if obedience was actually costing me something instead of protecting me. But every time I look back, I see it clearly. The moments I almost forced doors open were the very moments God was saving me from intersections that would have delayed my destiny. What is coming to you requires clarity, not desperation. It requires discernment, not emotional hunger, and God knows exactly how to build that inside you. Chosen one. Heaven is intervening now in subtle ways. You may notice your prayers becoming simpler but more powerful, your discernment sharper but quieter, your emotions steadier, less reactive. These are not random changes. These are signs that the scroll is activating. You are stepping into a season where you no longer chase confirmation, you recognize alignment. When the meeting happens, it will not feel chaotic. It will feel familiar, grounded, and strangely peaceful. Not because everything will be perfect, but because your spirit will not need to perform or prove anything. You will know you are standing on ordained ground. Stay surrendered here. Do not rush what God is refining. The alignment you cannot see is already protecting what you will soon hold. And when the time comes, when heaven releases the meeting, you will understand why it had to be this way and why it could not have been any sooner. Chosen one. There is something heaven wants you to understand clearly in this hour. Alignment feels slower than attraction, but it is infinitely stronger. Attraction rushes. Alignment settles. Attraction demands proof. Alignment brings peace without explanation. What God is doing now is removing the urgency that once drove you to chase clarity through people, conversations, or outcomes. He is teaching your spirit how to recognize truth without noise. That is why some days feel quieter than you expected, even though the promise is alive. Quiet does not mean inactive. Quiet means focused. Anointed one. I need to speak to the frustration that rises when you see others meet, quickly move fast, and celebrate publicly while your own story unfolds behind closed doors. I have watched that scene play out more than once in my own life. There were moments when I wondered if I had misunderstood God simply because my timeline did not match what I saw around me. But later, I realized something sobering. Many meetings are fast because they are not carrying weight. God moves slowly when something must last. He takes his time when the assignment attached to the connection is heavy. What is being prepared for you is not a moment, it is a structure that must hold pressure, responsibility, and longevity. Chosen one. This is why God is not rushing the meeting. He is aligning two lives that must be able to stand together without losing themselves. Before heaven brings faces together, it brings foundations into order. You are being trained to hear God without external confirmation, to trust discernment over excitement, and to choose peace even when clarity is incomplete. This is not accidental. I remember seasons where God intentionally removed my ability to emotionally latch onto people, situations, or possibilities. At the time, it felt like detachment. In truth, it was discipline. God was teaching me how to remain whole while waiting so that I would not arrive empty-handed when the promise appeared. Anointed one alignment also requires separation. This is the part few talk about because it feels uncomfortable and deeply personal. God often removes familiar patterns before introducing divine ones. That is why some relationships faded without conflict, some conversations stopped without explanation, and some desires lost their intensity without effort. You did not become colder. You became clearer. Heaven was clearing the emotional noise so you could recognize the sound of truth when it speaks. The meeting that is coming will not need convincing. It will not require chasing, overthinking, or constant reassurance. It will meet you where you already are, steady, aware, and anchored. Chosen one. There is also healing happening in places you did not know were still tender. God is not just aligning two futures, He is aligning two inner worlds. Old disappointments, unresolved grief, misplaced expectations, these are being gently addressed so they do not bleed into what is next. I've learned that unhealed anticipation can sabotage a blessing just as much as fear. There were times I entered new seasons still carrying emotional residue from old ones, and what should have been joy became pressure. God is sparing you from that. He is doing the quiet work now, so the meeting does not reopen wounds you were meant to outgrow. Anointed one. Heaven is also teaching you how to recognize divine pace. Not everything that feels intense is assigned. Not everything that moves quickly is ordained. Alignment teaches you to trust consistency over fireworks, depth over urgency, and obedience over emotional highs. This shift is subtle but powerful. You may notice that your prayers have changed. You are asking less for signs and more for wisdom, less for speed and more for readiness. That is maturity forming. That is the scroll unfolding. God is not withholding. He is entrusting you with discernment. Chosen one. Let me be honest with you from lived experience. The most dangerous season is not waiting. It is premature arrival. When something arrives before you are fully aligned, it demands energy you do not yet have and creates confusion where there should have been clarity. God is preventing that. He is aligning two lives so that when the meeting happens, it does not feel like rescue or escape, but recognition. You will not meet someone to fill a void. You will meet someone who stands whole beside you because you have learned how to stand whole on your own. Anointed one this season is also reshaping how you see yourself. God is strengthening your identity so that when connection comes, it complements who you are instead of defining who you are. This is critical. Many people lose themselves in relationships because they never learned how to remain anchored in God first. You are being spared that confusion. You are learning how to love without abandoning your assignment, how to connect without shrinking, how to share life without losing authority. These lessons are not glamorous, but they are essential. Chosen one, heaven is intervening even now in small, almost invisible ways. A delay that saved you from the wrong environment. A missed opportunity that would have tied you to something misaligned. A conversation that never happened even though you thought it should. These were not losses. They were protections. God is guarding both paths so they converge at the right altitude. The meeting is not happening at ground level. It is happening at a height that requires strength, clarity, and spiritual maturity. That is why the climb has felt demanding. Anointed One, do not mistake this preparation for isolation. You are not being hidden because you are forgotten. You are being hidden because timing matters. Scripture reminds us in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 that God makes all things beautiful in His time. Beauty requires order. Order requires patience, and patience requires trust. You are learning to trust without needing constant reassurance. That is the mark of someone whose destiny is stabilizing. Chosen One. When the meeting finally happens, it will not feel like chaos aligning. It will feel like two timelines clicking into place. Conversations will flow without performance. Presence will feel grounding, not draining. There will be challenges, yes, but not confusion about purpose. Not confusion about direction, not confusion about whether God is in it. You will sense it not as adrenaline, but as peace. The kind of peace that confirms rather than excites. The kind that allows growth instead of dependence. Anointed One, stay surrendered. Do not rush heaven. Do not negotiate timing with impatience. What God is aligning cannot be forced, and what is forced cannot be sustained. You are not late. You are not behind. You are being prepared to recognize what belongs to you without fear or hesitation. And when the meeting comes, you will see clearly why the wait was necessary, why the silence was protective, and why alignment had to come before encounter. Chosen One, there is a deeper layer of this alignment that heaven wants to unveil now, and it has everything to do with identity before intimacy. God is not merely preparing a meeting, He is securing who you are when that meeting happens. Many people meet the right person while still negotiating their sense of self, and the relationship becomes a battlefield instead of a blessing. God is protecting you from that. He is anchoring your identity so firmly that connection will add to you, not absorb you. What you are becoming in this season matters more than who you are about to meet. Anointed One alignment always exposes what cannot go forward. This is why you've felt internal resistance toward things you once tolerated. Certain behaviors, thought patterns, even old prayers no longer sit right in your spirit. God is refining your inner language. He is teaching you how to speak life over yourself, how to discern without suspicion, how to love without self-betrayal. I remember realizing one day that I no longer needed to explain my boundaries or justify my pace. That was the moment I knew God had shifted something deep within me. I wasn't guarding myself out of fear anymore. I was honoring myself out of clarity. Chosen One. Heaven is also working on expectation alignment. Many delays are not about readiness, but about recalibration. God is gently dismantling fantasies that would have turned into disappointments. Not because love won't be beautiful, but because it must be real. You are being delivered from the idea that connection must arrive dramatically to be divine. In truth, what is ordained often enters quietly, steadily, without needing to prove itself. God is teaching you how to recognize depth without drama. This lesson alone will spare you years of emotional exhaustion. Anointed One. This season is also healing your perception of time. You are learning that waiting is not wasted when God is involved. Waiting becomes an altar when it is surrendered. There were times in my own journey when I treated waiting like a punishment, measuring my worth by how long it took God to answer. But I learned something: freeing time does not diminish destiny. If anything, it strengthens it. What arrives after preparation carries stability, not shock. And what God is preparing for you now will not require recovery once it arrives. Chosen one. God is aligning not just two hearts but two assignments. This is critical. Some connections are emotional, others are spiritual. The one God is preparing for you is purposeful. That means both lives must be aligned not only in desire, but in direction. Heaven is ensuring that when you walk together, you are not pulling in opposite spiritual directions. That requires pruning. It requires obedience. It requires saying no to good things so you can say yes to the right thing. This is why your discernment has sharpened. You are no longer impressed by words alone. You are paying attention to fruit, consistency, and posture. Anointed one, the other life being aligned is also undergoing transformation. There are prayers being answered that you will never hear about. There are tears being wiped away that you will never witness. God is working in places you cannot access, and He does not need your involvement to do it. This is where trust deepens. I've learned that when God tells you to wait, He is not asking you to pause your life. He is asking you to trust His coordination. Heaven's silence does not mean inactivity. It means precision. Chosen one. This alignment is also restoring your ability to rest. Rest is a sign of trust. Anxiety tries to rush what faith allows to unfold. You may notice that even when questions arise, they no longer destabilize you the way they once did. That is growth. God is stabilizing your emotional core so you can stand firm when the moment comes. You are becoming someone who can hold connection without losing peace. That is rare. That is intentional. Anointed one, let me address the fear that sometimes whispers late at night. What if I miss it? That fear does not come from God. What is ordained does not require anxiety to sustain it. If something requires you to constantly fear losing it, it is not from heaven. God's alignments are not fragile. They do not slip through your fingers because of a bad day or a moment of doubt. What is sealed will find you when alignment is complete. Your responsibility is not to chase the meeting, but to remain aligned with God. Chosen one. This is why surrender is the posture of this season, not passivity surrender. You are actively trusting God with timing, outcomes, and methods. You are releasing control without abandoning hope. That balance is powerful. It allows God to move without resistance. I've seen what happens when people try to manage divine timing. They exhaust themselves and miss the beauty of the process. You are being invited into something better: cooperation with heaven. Anointed one, there is also a strengthening of discernment regarding counterfeit connections. Not everything that looks aligned is assigned. God is teaching you how to feel peace beyond attraction, how to sense resonance beyond familiarity. This discernment will protect what is coming. You will no longer confuse emotional intensity with spiritual alignment. You will no longer confuse attention with intention. This clarity is not accidental. It is part of the scroll being revealed. Chosen one, heaven is also preparing you for mutual responsibility. The connection God is aligning is not one-sided. It will require presence, communication, humility, and continued growth from both lives. God is preparing you to enter connection without unrealistic expectations, without savior complexes, without self-erasure. You are learning how to love from abundance, not lack. This alone changes everything. Anointed one. There will come a moment when you realize that you are no longer asking, "When will it happen?" You will find yourself asking, "Who am I becoming?" That shift is the sign that alignment is nearing completion. When your focus moves from outcome to obedience, heaven moves swiftly. God responds to readiness more than request, and readiness looks like peace, consistency, and trust. Chosen one, stay anchored. Do not rush what God is refining. The meeting you are waiting for is not delayed, it is being protected. And when it arrives, it will not feel like something you have to chase. It will feel like something you step into. You will recognize it not by intensity, but by clarity. Not by urgency, but by peace. And in that moment you will know that every quiet day, every unanswered question, every surrendered prayer was part of heaven's perfect alignment. Chosen one. There is a sacred transition happening now, one that moves you from preparation into posture. Not manifestation, yet posture. God is positioning your heart, your thoughts, and your daily rhythms so that when alignment completes, you are already standing where you need to be. This is not a season of waiting with folded hands. It is a season of quiet readiness. Heaven is teaching you how to hold expectancy without anxiety, how to anticipate without pressure, how to remain open without overreaching. That balance is rare, and it is being forged in you deliberately. Anointed one posture determines perception. When your posture is rooted in trust, you interpret delays as protection rather than rejection. You read silence as instruction rather than absence. I remember the subtle shift when I stopped asking God to hurry and started asking Him to steady me. The days didn't suddenly become louder or more exciting, but they became truer. I stopped scanning the horizon for signs and started listening for alignment. That was the moment I realized heaven was closer than I thought, not moving faster, but moving deeper. Chosen one. This posture is also teaching you restraint, the holy kind. Restraint that keeps you from oversharing before discernment confirms safety. Restraint that keeps you from chasing emotional clarity before spiritual clarity is present. God is training you to move when led, not when stirred. That is why some opportunities that once would have thrilled you now feel neutral. It's not that they're wrong, it's that they're not right for now. Alignment sharpens timing. It teaches you to wait for resonance, not reaction. Anointed one. Heaven is also aligning your language. Pay attention to how you speak about your future. Words shape pathways. God is inviting you to speak from faith, not from lack, from peace, not from pressure. There was a season when my prayers were full of explanations, why it needed to happen, how it should happen, when it should happen. Over time, those explanations fell away. They were replaced by a quieter confidence. You know, that simplicity wasn't resignation, it was trust. And trust accelerates alignment. Chosen one. The posture God is forming in you now will protect the connection when it arrives. Many relationships fracture not because they lack love, but because they lack grounding. Two people meet while still searching for stability, and the relationship becomes the place they try to find it. God is preventing that dynamic. He is ensuring that stability is present before connection, not demanded from it. This is why you're learning to regulate your emotions, to sit with uncertainty without spiraling, to feel deeply without losing center. These are not small skills, they are foundational. Anointed one, there is also a recalibration of desire happening. Desire is being purified from urgency. Want is being separated from need. God is teaching you how to desire without desperation, to hope without hunger. This does not make you indifferent, it makes you anchored. Anchored people do not cling, they choose. And choice, not attachment, is what sustains alignment over time. Chosen one. Heaven is also aligning your daily faithfulness, not the dramatic moments, the ordinary ones. How you show up when no one is watching, how you keep your word to yourself, how you care for your body, your time, your inner world. These small obediences are stitching together the hidden scroll. They are forming a life that can host what is coming. I learned that the most powerful confirmations often come disguised as routine, doing the right thing consistently without applause. God notices. Heaven records. Nothing is wasted. Anointed one. This posture of readiness also includes humility. Not the kind that diminishes you, but the kind that keeps you teachable. God is ensuring that when alignment completes, you remain open to growth. You will not arrive thinking the work is done. You will arrive knowing the work continues together with grace. Humility creates space for collaboration instead of competition, for listening instead of assuming. It keeps connection alive when circumstances change. Chosen one, let me speak to the moments when impatience tries to disguise itself as wisdom. It whispers, be practical, lower expectations, move on. Discernment will tell you when to release something. Impatience will tell you to abandon what still requires trust. Learn the difference. God is not asking you to cling to outcomes. He is asking you to remain faithful to alignment. Faithfulness is not stubbornness, it is obedience with an open hand. You can trust God and still live fully. You can wait without pausing your life. Alignment does not suspend joy, it deepens it. Anointed one, heaven is also aligning boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They allow the right things in at the right time. God is teaching you where to say no without guilt, and yes without fear. These boundaries will protect the connection that is coming from being overwhelmed by external pressures, opinions, and expectations. You are learning to steward intimacy wisely, to protect sacred things from public consumption. This is maturity speaking. Chosen one. The posture of readiness also sharpens gratitude. Gratitude anchors you in the present while honoring the future. When you thank God for what is forming, not just for what has arrived, you signal trust. I learned that gratitude quiets the urge to control. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's being built. And what's being built now is strong. Anointed one, there is a verse in Isaiah chapter 60 verse 22 that speaks of God hastening things in their time. Notice the order in their time, not yours, not mine. Alignment creates the conditions for acceleration without chaos. When readiness meets release, movement is swift and sure. God is preparing you for that moment, not by speeding the process, but by strengthening the posture. Chosen one, as posture solidifies, you may feel a gentle confidence rising. Not certainty about details, but certainty about direction. You're less concerned with how it will happen and more committed to who you are becoming. That is the sign that heaven's work is taking root. When the meeting comes, it will meet you in this posture, steady, aware, grounded. You will not need to rush to define it. You will allow it to unfold with integrity. Anointed one, remain here. Keep your heart soft and your stance firm. Do not rush what God is refining. The posture you are learning now will carry you through the next season with grace. And when alignment completes, you will recognize it not by a surge of urgency, but by a settling of peace, a knowing that says, this fits. Chosen one. There is a sacred unveiling happening beneath the surface now, one that reveals why alignment must mature before encounter. God is not simply arranging a meeting, He is safeguarding a covenant atmosphere. There is a difference between crossing paths and entering purpose. Many people meet, but few are truly aligned. Alignment is what allows two lives to move forward without competing, without controlling, without consuming one another. Heaven is protecting you from a connection that would have required constant correction instead of natural cooperation. Anointed one. One of the most overlooked truths in destiny is this: God values sustainability more than speed. What he joins must endure seasons, pressure, misunderstanding, and growth. This is why the preparation has felt internal rather than external. God has been strengthening your inner compass so you do not rely on the other person to tell you who you are or where you are going. You are learning to stand in truth even when no one is affirming it. That kind of stability is rare, and it is essential for what is coming. Chosen one. Heaven is also teaching you how to recognize alignment through fruit, not feeling. Feelings fluctuate. Fruit remains. Alignment shows up in consistency, integrity, and shared direction, not just emotional intensity. This discernment is being sharpened in you now. You are no longer impressed by words alone. You watch patterns. You listen beyond language. You sense when something carries peace instead of pressure. This wisdom will protect you when the meeting comes, because you will not be drawn into confusion disguised as connection. Anointed one, there is also a restoration of trust happening, trust in God and trust in yourself. Many delays are not about readiness, but about healing trust fractures. Disappointment has a way of making us question our discernment, our hearing, our worth. God is repairing that quietly. He is teaching you that missed connections were not failures of faith, but redirections of mercy. I've had to relearn this myself, understanding that what didn't work was not proof that I was unworthy, but evidence that God was involved enough to intervene. Chosen one alignment also requires emotional sobriety. God is teaching you how to feel deeply without being driven by emotion. This is not suppression. It is mastery. When emotions lead, discernment follows. When discernment leads, emotions become companions rather than commanders. You are learning how to stay present without over-attaching, how to care without collapsing, how to hope without losing grounding. These are not small lessons. They are the difference between a relationship that drains and one that builds. Anointed one. Heaven is also addressing generational patterns. Some cycles are not personal, they are inherited. Patterns of rushing, settling, or over-sacrificing did not begin with you, but they can end with you. God is breaking timelines that said, "This is how it always goes." He is rewriting the script, so what unfolds in your life does not repeat what unfolded before. This takes time because it requires awareness, choice, and consistent obedience. You are not just aligning for yourself, you are shifting legacy. Chosen one. There is also a lesson in timing humility. Timing humility accepts that God sees angles you cannot. It allows him to arrange details without interference. There were seasons when I thought I knew exactly when something should happen, only to realize later that I had no idea what it needed to survive. God's restraint was not denial, it was foresight. He is exercising that foresight now on your behalf. The meeting is being preserved from circumstances that would have diluted its purpose. Anointed one alignment also means that when the meeting happens, it will not compete with God's place in your life. God does not introduce people to replace him. He introduces them to walk with him alongside you. This is why your relationship with God has been deepening, not louder, deeper. You are learning to draw strength from him directly, so no human connection carries the weight of being your source. That order matters. When God remains, central relationships remain healthy. Chosen one. Heaven is also aligning expectations of responsibility. Love that lasts requires effort, communication, patience, and grace. God is preparing you to enter connection without illusions that it will always be easy, but with confidence that it will be worth stewarding. You are being trained to resolve conflict without withdrawal, to speak truth without aggression, to listen without defensiveness. These capacities are being built now in the quiet before they are tested in the open. Anointed One, you may notice that your tolerance for emotional games has disappeared. You no longer have energy for ambiguity that lacks integrity. That is not hardness, it is clarity. God is removing your appetite for half-connection so you can recognize full alignment. This clarity may feel isolating at times, but it is necessary. It narrows the field, so what remains is true. Chosen One, there is also a strengthening of self-respect happening. You are learning that being chosen does not mean being available to everything. It means being set apart for what aligns. This self-respect will shape how you enter the meeting without chasing, without proving, without shrinking. You will meet as yourself, not as a version trying to earn presence. That changes the entire dynamic. Anointed One, heaven is also teaching you how to release outcomes without releasing hope. Hope that is anchored in God does not panic when timelines shift. It remains open, curious, and trusting. You are learning how to live fully in the present without postponing joy for a future moment. This balance matters. It allows alignment to unfold without pressure. Chosen One, let me speak to the quiet confidence growing in you. That confidence is not arrogance, it is peace with who you are becoming. You are less reactive, less restless, less desperate for answers. That is not because you have them all, but because you trust the One who does. When that trust solidifies, heaven moves freely. Anointed One, the meeting that is coming will meet you in this state, grounded, discerning, whole. You will not arrive needing to be convinced. You will arrive recognizing alignment because it matches the work God has already done in you. There will be confirmation, but not chaos. There will be depth, but not confusion. There will be growth, but not fear. Chosen One, remain faithful in this season. Do not rush what God is protecting. Alignment is not slow, it is exact. And what is exact does not miss its moment. When heaven releases the meeting, it will not feel late. It will feel right. Chosen One, there is a final refinement unfolding now, one that prepares you not just to receive the meeting, but to carry what comes after it. Many people are excited for arrival, but heaven is far more invested in endurance. God is shaping you into someone who can remain aligned after the moment passes, after the novelty fades, after real life begins to unfold. This is the difference between a divine encounter and a divine continuation. What God is aligning is not a peak experience. It is a sustainable path. Anointed One, sustainability requires inner governance. God is strengthening your ability to self-regulate emotionally, spiritually, and mentally so that connection does not overwhelm your discernment. You are learning how to pause before reacting, how to listen before interpreting, how to respond instead of spiraling. These are not small adjustments, they are safeguards. I remember seasons when I wanted God to hurry simply because I didn't yet have the capacity to sit with uncertainty. When that capacity grew, the urgency disappeared, and that's when clarity began to arrive. Chosen One, heaven is also teaching you how to hold joy without fear. Fear often hides beneath excitement, whispering that good things don't last. God is healing that expectation. He is showing you that what comes from Him does not need to be guarded with anxiety. It is secure because it is rooted in order. You are learning to enjoy anticipation without bracing for loss. That is a sign of trust restored. Anointed One, alignment also demands responsibility for one's inner world. God is preparing you to enter connection without outsourcing your emotional well-being. You are learning to bring peace with you instead of looking for it in someone else. This does not diminish intimacy, it deepens it. Two people who carry their own peace can share life without draining one another. God is ensuring that when the meeting happens, it adds to your life instead of compensating for unresolved wounds. Chosen one. There is also a quiet strengthening of spiritual authority happening. Authority is not loud, it is steady. It is the ability to remain rooted when circumstances shift. God is teaching you how to trust His voice above internal noise and external pressure. This authority will matter later, when decisions must be made together, when direction must be discerned, when alignment must be protected from distraction. You are being trained now so those moments do not overwhelm you. Anointed One. Heaven is also recalibrating how you understand partnership. Partnership is not dependency. It is shared stewardship. God is aligning two lives that can walk side by side without one carrying the other's weight. This requires maturity on both ends. You are learning how to offer support without self-erasure, how to receive support without guilt. This balance is rare and it is being cultivated intentionally. Chosen one. There is also a release of performance-driven faith. You are no longer trying to earn outcomes through effort or sacrifice. You are trusting God's character more than your own ability to manage the process. This shift frees you from striving. It allows God to move without resistance. I learned that the moment I stopped trying to do everything right was the moment God's guidance became clearer. Faith rooted in trust invites alignment naturally. Anointed One alignment also brings discernment about seasonal roles. Not everyone who walks with you in one season is meant to walk with you in the next. God is teaching you how to release without resentment and welcome without comparison. This will protect the connection that is coming from unnecessary tension. You are learning that endings can be holy and beginnings can be gentle. Both are part of God's design. Chosen one. Heaven is also teaching you how to protect intimacy. Not all things are meant to be shared publicly or prematurely. God is shaping your discretion so that what is sacred remains covered. This is not secrecy, it is stewardship. When the meeting happens, you will instinctively know what to hold close and what to release slowly. This wisdom will guard the connection from external pressure and internal haste. Anointed One, there is also a deepening of compassion happening. Compassion for yourself and for others. God is softening places that once reacted defensively. You are learning to understand without excusing, to forgive without forgetting boundaries, to hold grace without abandoning truth. This compassion will allow the relationship to grow through misunderstanding rather than fracture under it. Chosen One alignment also teaches patience with process. Growth does not stop once the meeting occurs. God is preparing you to continue evolving without panic. You are learning that change does not equal threat. This mindset will allow the relationship to adapt as life unfolds. Stability does not mean stagnation, it means grounded movement. Anointed One Heaven is also aligning your sense of mission. The connection coming into your life is not meant to distract you from purpose, but to support it. God is ensuring that both lives are oriented toward growth, service, and integrity. This shared direction will matter more than shared interests when challenges arise. You are being prepared to recognize alignment, not just in affection, but in values and vision. Chosen One, let me address the quiet thought that sometimes surfaces. What if it never happens? That thought is not prophecy. It is fear seeking certainty. God does not tease hearts with promises He does not intend to fulfill. What he asks for is trust without timelines. When trust is present, fear loses its voice. You are learning how to live fully without waiting to feel complete. That wholeness is what attracts alignment naturally. Anointed One, there is also a release from comparison happening. You are no longer measuring your journey against others. You are honoring your own path. This freedom will protect you from impatience and envy. God's work in you is specific. It does not need validation from external milestones. You are learning to celebrate quietly, to progress steadily, to trust deeply. Chosen One, as this refinement completes, you may notice a calm certainty settling in. Not about details, but about direction. You are less concerned with when and more aligned with who. This is the sign that readiness is near. God responds to this posture swiftly. When alignment is complete, movement is effortless. Anointed One, the meeting you are waiting for will meet you in this state, clear, steady, grounded. It will not demand urgency. It will invite presence. It will not destabilize your peace. It will complement it. And when that moment comes, you will realize that every season of preparation, every moment of restraint, every surrendered prayer was not delaying your destiny, it was securing it. Chosen One, remain faithful, remain grounded. Heaven is not rushing the meeting because heaven is protecting the future, and what God protects, He fulfills with precision. Chosen One, this is the hour of recognition, not anticipation. What heaven has been aligning is now steady enough to be revealed, not all at once, not with spectacle, but with certainty. You are standing at the edge of a season where clarity replaces questioning, where confirmation replaces striving, and where peace speaks louder than desire. This is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new way of walking. God has not rushed the meeting because He was shaping the ground where it would stand, and now that ground is firm. Anointed One, there is a sacred shift that happens when preparation finishes. It does not announce itself with noise. It arrives as assurance. You may notice that you are no longer rehearsing conversations that haven't happened, no longer imagining outcomes that need control. Your inner world has grown quiet, not empty. That quiet is the sound of trust settling in. I remember the moment this happened for me, the day I realized I wasn't waiting anymore. I was simply living aware that something was forming but no longer needing to manage it. That is when I knew alignment had done its work. Chosen One recognition does not mean perfection. It means readiness to meet reality with grace. When the meeting happens, you will not meet an idea or a fantasy. You will meet a person, whole human growing. And you will meet them as yourself, no longer trying to be impressive, no longer afraid of being seen. This is the fruit of alignment. Two lives crossing paths without pretense, without urgency, without fear of loss. That kind of meeting can only happen when both have learned how to remain anchored. Anointed One, heaven has taught you how to recognize what belongs to you. You will not need to analyze it to death. You will not need external validation to trust it. Recognition feels like familiarity without history, peace without explanation. It does not remove discernment, it works with it. You will sense that this connection fits the work God has already done in you. It will echo, not disrupt. That is how you will know alignment has spoken. Chosen One, let me be clear, this recognition does not mean life becomes effortless. It means life becomes honest. Challenges will still arise, but they will not threaten identity. Growth will still be required, but it will not come at the cost of self-respect. God is not delivering you into ease. He is delivering you into truth. Truth sustains what ease cannot. Anointed One, There is also a responsibility that comes with recognition, the responsibility to continue choosing alignment. God does not force what He gives. He invites stewardship. You will still need to listen, to communicate, to remain humble, to grow. Alignment does not remove effort. It removes confusion. You will know what you are building and why it matters. That clarity is a gift. Chosen one. Heaven has also prepared you to handle the moment after recognition. Many people stumble not at arrival, but after it, when expectations collide with reality. God has spared you that shock. You have learned how to stay present, how to pace yourself, how to protect what is sacred. You will not rush to define or display what needs time to unfold. You will allow intimacy to deepen naturally. That patience will guard the future. Anointed One, this season has taught you how to let go of outcomes without letting go of faith. That skill will carry you far. You are no longer trying to secure tomorrow by controlling today. You are trusting God with sequence, and sequence is how destiny unfolds without strain. When you move in sequence, you do not miss steps. You do not skip foundations. You build something that lasts. Chosen one, recognition also brings gratitude. Gratitude for the delays that saved you. Gratitude for the no's that redirected you. Gratitude for the quiet seasons that strengthened you. You will look back and see that nothing was wasted, not the waiting, not the loneliness, not the unanswered prayers. All of it was used to shape someone who could recognize alignment when it arrived. Anointed One, Heaven is also reminding you that alignment is not exclusive to romance. The posture you've learned applies to every area of life: calling, community, purpose. You now recognize when something fits and when it doesn't. You are less tempted to force doors open. You are more willing to wait for resonance. This discernment will continue to serve you long after the meeting takes place. Chosen one. There will be moments when the old habits try to resurface: overthinking, rushing, self-doubt. That does not mean alignment failed. It means growth is ongoing. Return to what you have learned. Breathe, listen, trust. You are not starting from zero anymore. You are moving from a place of wisdom. Anointed One, Heaven has done what only heaven can do. It has aligned two lives without confusion, without manipulation, without haste. It has protected the future by strengthening the present. And now, as recognition settles in, you are invited to walk forward, not with urgency, but with intention, not with fear, but with faith. Chosen one. The meeting you were waiting for will not demand that you abandon who you are. It will honor who you have become. And in that space you will understand the truth of this season. God was never delaying love. He was preparing you to live it well. Remain grounded, remain open, remain aligned. What heaven has aligned, no rushing could have improved and no delay could have denied. Chosen one, receive this as a holy sealing. What heaven has spoken over you is not delayed, not confused, and not denied. Your sealed prophecy is opening. The hidden scroll is being revealed. You are standing in your exact Kairos moment, your divinely appointed time on heaven's clock. God is aligning lives with precision, not haste, and what unfolds next will arrive in peace, clarity, and power. Anointed one, remain faithful. Stay aligned with the flow of the anointing. Look ahead with gratitude, not urgency, for what is forming is protected and sure. May wisdom guard you, peace lead you, and confirmation follow you. If this word resonated, leave 777 in the comments as a witness, and stay connected. What heaven is unfolding has only begun.